opportunity, I mean, the American or the USA give us opportunity to go somewhere else like France, to ask him to have kind of very sophisticated aircraft like Rafale.
Right.
When USA realized that we went to France to have this kind of aircraft, they give us, I mean, they release the F-16 for us, but it's too late. It's too late because the agreement said no country can have anything, weapon from any kind of, how can I say, like France or England or whatever, only America to give us some weapon or aircraft. When they stop during the F-16, then we have the opportunity to go somewhere else, as I said, to have the Rafale. The story of the Rafale, it takes about 4 years to have it. But why we have it in 6 months? Because they built it for the Air Force, I mean the French Air Force. They give us what they built for them. Actually, the first 3 and the second 3 from their production, I mean for the French production. That's why...
it was ready.
It was ready before, like the Mistral, the same way.
Right.
But we don't have time to build the Mistral or maybe to manufacture the aircraft. They give us what they manufacture from the French Air Force, actually. That's, like you said, for diversification of the weapon.
Yeah, diversifying our options, never depending on one country or one option.
Never happen again. Like we have it before for 30 years. 30 years. 30 years we have the American weapon, American aircraft, American tanks, everything. But now we have in different way to take or to deliver anything comes from other country like Russia, as I said, and France, and some other country come by time.
Definitely. Well, it has been an achievement and it has been the story of the day. And thank you very much, General Nasr Moussa, strategic expert, for reading with us this important headline and also highlighting the sophisticated equipment and more information scientifically concerning the warship and the Rafale. I thank you very much, General.
Thank you.
You really added to the show.
Thank you, Sam.
Well, the daily debate is not yet over. We'll be talking about the wrap-up of the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban wrapping up his 3-day official visit to Egypt on Thursday. Before departure, Orban visited Al-Azhar, St. Mark's Coptic Cathedral and the Hanging Church. During the meeting with Al-Azhar's Grand Imam Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib and the Hungarian Premier, Al-Tayyib underscored Al-Azhar's keenness on holding cultural and scientific relations with Hungary. And we've been witnessing earlier in the day also an important press conference by Sheikh Al-Tayyib, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, underscoring and underpinning Al-Azhar's policy throughout the coming stage, a very important international press conference that was held earlier in the day. This report highlights the recap of the Hungarian Premier's visit to Egypt, and we'll be back for further discussion concerning relations between Egypt and Hungary.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban ended on Thursday a 3-day official visit to Egypt, during which he held summit talks with President Fattah al-Sisi and Prime Minister Sharif Ismail that centered on means of strengthening bilateral relations in various domains, notably the economic ties, in addition to a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern. At a news conference following their talks, President Sisi said that the two sides had discussed the latest developments in the Middle East and Europe, in addition to the two countries' visions regarding the importance of resuming talks on all official levels to coordinate their stances and exchange points of views. The Syrian crisis and the situation in Libya were the highest on the agenda with respect to security issues in the region. President El-Sisi commended bilateral ties with Hungary and said that the visit reflects the development of positive ties between the two sides, adding that he was exerting efforts to improve those ties in all fields. The head of state stressed that Egypt was looking forward to working closely with the Hungarian side during the coming period to translate bilateral relations to tangible, practical results. The two sides agreed to bolster trade cooperation and join forces in the fight against terrorism. Orban expressed his country's condolences to Cairo over the recent crash of an Egypt Air passenger jet in the Mediterranean that killed all 66 on board. He described talks with President al-Sisi as constructive, saying that the success of al-Sisi is in the interests of Hungary. Orban highlighted plans to reinforce counter-terrorism efforts. He said stability in Libya is a pivotal matter for Egypt and the European Union that can only be achieved through a strong army and by cutting off aid to armed factions. The Hungarian Prime Minister said Cairo and Budapest agreed to boost cooperation in water, agriculture and education, as well as bolster investment in the energy sector. Meanwhile, President el-Sisi and the Hungarian Premier witnessed the signing ceremony of a number of cooperation agreements related to military and international cooperation, media and civil aviation. There was also a memorandum of understanding and a letter of intent for economic cooperation. A Hungarian-Egyptian business forum was held to look at multitude of prospective projects. Orban was accompanied by Hungarian ministers of foreign affairs and commerce and top business executives. In June 2015, President el-Sisi visited Hungary and met with Orban and head of the Hungarian parliament, during which he said Hungarian-Egyptian ties had been seamless for a long time. The two sides discussed bilateral economic cooperation and means to enhance trade levels. At the time, el-Sisi said Orban addressed Egypt's position on the fight against terrorism, on possibilities of conflict resolution in Libya and the Syria-Iraq conflict. They signed a joint declaration and two other cooperation pacts had been signed by the two countries beforehand.
We're back and wrapping up the visit of the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban to Egypt. We have with us reading this headline Dr. Mohammed Ishimi, Assistant Professor of Political Science, Helwan University. Thank you very much, Dr. Ishimi,
Thank you
for being with us on the debate live. Doctor, wrapping up the visit, it has been very important that Prime Minister Orban would meet with the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, and I guess that there was a message here of seeing eye to eye on respecting of Islam as a religion and promoting this sense of dialogue.
Actually, there's what's ongoing issues and events, like not just in the Middle East, and just worldwide, okay, and especially in Europe, and this very rejected events in Belgium and in France to representing the rule of religious in some different kind of issues, okay, and some challenges for Egyptian foreign policy recently after 2011 and what's really going on, okay, in different countries represents the rule of Egypt and how to to determine the mainly strengths of some issues. One of these main strengths issues after raising of ISIS or Daesh in Iraq and Syria, and Egypt, which try to carry messages to all worldwide the truth image of Islam. So the visiting of over here, okay, by Prime Minister of Hungarian to Azhar, representing the new kind of ties between Azhar, the mainly figure out for Sunnis in the Middle East, and how to try to tell all the worldwide. We have a message from you, especially Egypt, and I think emphasized by the leadership, Mr. Abdel Sisi, in more of I think speeches that Egypt to try to reforming the message of Islam in all the Middle East, okay, and they're presenting that.
Modernizing the religious discourse, yeah.
Yes, okay. So upgrading it, and not just for for Europe, for all the worldwide. So I think it's a very significant, I think, issues by this visiting Mr. Prime Minister of Hungarian to the other, and the figure out of the relationship between Islam and Europe, and how could really emphasize about. Not just the religious or the more violent communities or groups which try to represent the very miserable issues of Islam toward like ISIS. Not just that, but I think
ISIS are terrorists.
I mean, like just we
they have nothing to do with Islam.
Yes, that actually what try to mean about.
Right, Professor. If we're talking about Egyptian-Hungarian relations, and the visit is taking relations into a new chapter, what has been achieved during the visit from your perspective?
I think one of the many challenges right now, how to carry out the leadership to all the internal issues. One of that, the critical issues of the economic and, the collapse of, value of Egyptian pound. So right now, Egypt to try to make a new kind of refreshing for the Egyptian economy by making a different kind of project and partnership with other countries like Hungary.
But usually it's a win-win situation, If they don't have confidence in your economy, they won't come and invest.
But as pushing forward some kind of relationship with European countries mean like one of that is Hungarian, especially.
Right, it's on a win-win situation.
Yeah, it's win-win situation.
We are working with European countries in a sense of partnership.
Yeah, partnership was one of the mainly countries, especially not just for economic part, but I think what I'm really looking forward to talk about is with a military part too. As the first part of the episode, we talked about the minister.
The ministerial.
Ministerial relationship.
Well, we are boosting cooperation on more than one level, definitely.
Not just one level, there's different kind of dimension of relationship in politics generally. Like when we talk about the visiting by Hungarian Prime Minister in Egypt, it doesn't mean just for one project, one issue, with different kind of issues, especially when they talk in the journalists express like we are here to talk about relationship, and we talk about the relationship between our countries, not just for make a kind of main issues only, but I think to make a gradually relationship in different kind of levels in the future between two countries, because as they mentioned today, they try to to still in speeching together and make a dialogue between Egypt and Hungarian in different kind of issues, especially the Libyan crisis and how it affected the European countries' security.
Right. There is more than one field to boost cooperation. We find water, irrigation, agriculture, education, and you are a professor at the university. What are the expectations of cooperation in the field of education? Scholarships? Are we talking about scholarships?
Yeah, just especially when they talk today, they talk about like the very just very tiny relationship between Egypt and Hungary, and like tens of students who are really studying in Hungary, and but they're looking forward to strengthen that relationship with a culture way between Egypt and Hungary. But I think education is very very critical point for all Egypt, not just the relationship with Hungary, but generally with different kind of countries else. When you talk about the relationship with Hungary as today, it's part of how make transactions for the Egyptian educational system, how to make a simulation with other countries who really take forward steps in this field. And what I'm trying to read today from two leaders or from two sides of dialogues today, they try to make a kind of pushing up relationship and dialogue. Especially, if you want to try appraising or, as you mentioned, make upgrading minds, upgrading issues, we have to developing the file of education. So, how to fight with terrorism, how to fight with violence in the Middle East, we have to upgrading
fight radical thoughts.
Radical thoughts and violence issues, especially not just with economics projects, but I think with other side by
with the soft power as well, using
soft power, using the culture and using educational aspect, and potentially between two countries like Egypt and Hungary, or generally with European countries too.
All right. Dr. Mohammed, if we're talking about the economy and the implementation of the mega projects, it's a win-win situation. How do you see the sense of partnership in that respect, and also seeing eye to eye between Egypt and Hungary regarding the political issues?
We can really, we can cut off or get out Hungary rule out of Arabian countries seen for all the Middle East. Especially when we talk about the Syrian, so the Libyan crisis over here, or the Yemeni too. Win-win situation, as you talk about, it's part of relationship between two countries according to the interests, and interests mean like both of countries try to make a kind of the security of the Mediterranean region. Okay, that's one of the mainly
the sense of stability.
Stability in the region, and like the security of the Mediterranean region generally for the European countries, especially Hungary, like it's mean like secure on all kind of
because it reflects on the security of Europe.
It reflects the kind of, for all Europe, okay, for the southern of Europe, and for all the things like for all the trades and deals with the most of the Middle East or the forest toward Europe. So I think the kind of dialogues today is part of how to secure this part of issues, secure the rule of Egypt according to the ongoing issues in Libya, the ongoing issues in Yemen, and how it could be reflect the rule of bilateral relationship between two countries too. I think one situation it's very great, I think, terms to represent the rule of relationship between two countries. But I try to emphasize over here that Egypt still, I think, look forward a new rule in the Middle East after 2011, because we start to, I think, diversifying
our options and our
option in foreign policy with different powers in the region, with different powers in some regions, like in European countries, with the relationship with Cyprus. Before two countries, we don't have emphasized the rule of Cyprus in the Mediterranean. Like right now we still figure out that could be balanced with the power of Turkish in this region. However, we still talk about how we try to rebuild our relationship with some Eastern countries in Europe, like Hungary, or maybe we're going to, I think, one of the Egyptian agenda in next months would be with Romania and with, I think, with Czech countries could be, I think, make more balance in the region, especially we try to emphasize the rule of Egypt in this very critical point.
Right. Hungary has said it supports any sort of initiative that would play a positive role in making the Middle East peace process successful. In what way can Hungary contribute in that respect?
Hungary can really contribute according to the rule of European countries. From one side, other side, Hungarians try to, emphasize about that according to the most express news recently. Hungarians try to, I think, make a relationship with Israel. Okay, and one of that how to make that according to some news and info about this Hungarian relationship with Israel could really play a great role supporting the rule of Egypt in some I think pushing to the critical negotiations recently with the peace process between Israel and Palestine. So right now we'll talk about how to emphasize about the main terms which you mentioned, like win-win situations. We try to win some interests from these critical issues, and this is the same way by the Hungarian Prime Minister, and which emphasized today that we try to support the rule of Egypt in the Middle East, and we try to support the peace process.
He said he appreciates the Egyptian leadership and appreciates the role of what Egypt is really doing in achieving stability for the region, because they know quite well, Viktor Orban and Europe knows quite well that the stability of Egypt reflects on the stability of Europe.
Actually, that's the very I think that's the clear message from Hungary to all worldwide, and there's a clear message according for whole of Europe. Okay, according to this speech, and I think according to practical issues and critical steps from Hungary and other countries toward Egypt in next months too.
The Hungarian Prime Minister also highlighted plans in order to reinforce counter-terrorism plans and efforts, and said stability in Libya is a pivotal matter, and not only for Egypt but also for the European Union as a whole.
What really happened according to the Egyptian plan in Sinai, I think 6 months ago, and recently the Egypt Air Plan, which came from France toward Egypt. It's both of these events, and according, if we try to figure out the all image by just spot the event of Paris and event of Belgium, it's part of the crisis of tourism generally. And it's part of how really we, just emphasize about the role of all the countries toward this enemy, okay? This mentioned about today the issues of clash of Egypt Air Plan, and this could be affected the role of European countries to I think support investigation about this plan. Could be yes, it's okay. Could be I think one of the main I think one of the main ideas which try to figure out by Prime Minister today, and I think emphasize the role of which I mentioned, like the role of two countries to I think make a stability in the region of the Middle East generally.
Right. The minister also said the country respects and appreciates the performance of President Al-Sisi and the government meeting Sheikh Al-Azhar, Dr. Al-Tayyib. How about the cultural aspect? It's very important as well, and playing a very important role in the win-win situation regarding the people-to-people relations.
According to diplomatic terms, we usually using the second-track diplomacy, which means like not just we're representing by the formal way,
the official.
With the official way, not just with that, but we try to make a second-track diplomacy according to the civil society, and the mainly how to make a cultural way with
and the role of popular diplomacy. That's why we do have it like working hand in
diplomacy and religious diplomacy in parallel with the official way. So I think today we're with this visiting representing that Hungarian Prime Minister, I think today we try to emphasize the both of two countries' relationship, not just with official way, with I think with second-track diplomacy, with a population way too. I say as I mentioned before in different writing for the way of aspect of Egyptian foreign policy by speech. Which doing by Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in Russia, in Ethiopia, and before Egypt, to try to emphasize the way of talking with the population of other countries, and other countries try to do same with Egyptian people by doing a dialogue with different institutions, with different communities over here in Egypt, like Azhar today, or maybe other civil societies institutions too.
Right. Well, it's always a win-win situation that the official level works hand in hand with popular diplomacy and the people themselves, and it reflects definitely on people-to-people relations. Dr. Mohammed Hashimi, Assistant Professor of Political Science, Halwani University, thank you very much for coming to the debate.
Thank you very much.
And highlighting this important headline, namely the visit of the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban to Egypt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the debate for tonight, reading two important headlines: the wrap-up of the visit of the Hungarian Prime Minister, plus Egypt welcoming earlier in the day the Mistral added to the Egyptian military fleet. Many thanks for watching, and we'll be back with another debate Sunday. Until then.